This is Morten from English TV, and I'm here with Chris from Tharstern. And it's really great. We are here at the Label Expo show, as I mentioned before. And what we're going to see is something that is a brand new release. I think we're actually the first to see it.
It is, yeah. It's the first day today.
And now we're watching your screen here. Is the product called On a Roll, or
no?
Or is it just a?
Yeah, so that's just our fictitious demo company for the show.
But just imagine you had a product called On a Roll. That could be nice.
True, yeah, you heard it here first. Yeah, so the product is Tharstern Cloud, and our existing product is Tharstern Desktop. And yeah, we're starting off going through the stack. So at the minute we do quotes through to orders, and we have shipping, and then over the next phase of the product is to add the production side of it and the purchasing.
Okay, so just to understand, so this is like when you have the catalog, that a catalog of products that you offer, a customer offer, basically, right?
Yeah, so we've tried to build it a bit more like an ERP, so you can use it as a sales order system, and so it's not just about estimates based on printed products. You can sell anything you want. You can sell pre-bought materials, non-manufactured goods. You can sell services. So yeah, it's much more of a sales order approach.
And if you look at it, I mean, I take that before you started developing this very noisy background we have here today, right? Apparently the show is not really running yet. You just have to cut this out, Chica, basically. I got confused when you see a truck coming by, right? No, sorry. No, I was just wondering when you start. I mean, because I take that it takes some time to develop something like this, right? Yeah. So when you started considering doing something specifically for the label segment, what kind of things got through your heads?
Yeah. So actually we started without the label segment in mind. So we've still built something that's very sector agnostic. But it would be such a big job to replicate our product in a very short time frame that let's start with an agnostic engine, and then let's start to add the market segments on one by one. So
does that mean that this is like the first version of a web-based system where you can basically have a frame where you can build to different segments, if you like?
Yeah, absolutely. So only last week we finished doing flexible packaging as well. So we've now got label sector and flexible packaging. And then, over time, we'll just keep on adding through wide format and so on.
I was thinking that when I talked to both your competitors, but also to some of the customers in the industry, I think that some of the interesting thing that people are looking into right now is like APIs, of course, obviously the web interface and things like that. Also connecting to production and workflow system. Is that also some part of what you are working on here? Or?
Yeah. So you'll speak to Keith in a minute. So our CEO, and he's hugely passionate about connectivity with our old product. We're probably the best connected desktop product, I believe, in terms of JDF connectivity for all the other market segments. The accounts packages we connect to, the shipping brokers, and that's definitely something we want to continue on with the cloud product. And it's been designed from the ground up with that in mind. So it is API first. The user interface is completely detached almost from the core product itself.
That is how you do programming these days, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
let's take a look at let's say I just invested in this product. I'm a label manufacturer. Yeah. What do I do?
Okay. So
I have a customer. I need a price.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go straight into the quotes module, for example. So just to kind of get oriented in the quotes module, so all of the modules follow the same pattern. There are multiple views. So this is the kind of the grid view, the kind of classic view, the way you can get all of your data. But there's also like an out-of-the-box workflow view.
So that's like a swim lane, basically.
Yeah, exactly that. And so there's certain parts of the software that need some kind of in-depth configuration because you have to set up all of your machines and your materials and so on. But we wanted it to be huge areas of the software that were just out of the box, ready to go. So this dashboard just appears once you start to use it. Everything's pre-configured, out of the box, ready to go. So you can see my quotes that are in draft stage through to submitted, expired, ordered, and so on. And then the final view is the analytics view. So for each, again, each area of the software, we'll build a specific analytics page.
And when you see things like this, it makes so much sense when you say that you have built and developed like a core, because this kind of data and those kind of views applies to almost any industry.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, again, the beauty is there's no setup of this view. It's just out of the box. If you have the desire to connect to something even better, then you could connect to Power BI, for example. And in fact, some people in the company have just played around with that, building their own dashboards in Power BI. But the fact that this is out of the box, it's great for new users. Again, zero configuration. But let's go back to the quotes itself. So let's create a quote.
Which view do you think will be used the most?
I think, well, it depends. So I think in shipping, I think probably the card view will be used the most as a shipping workflow.
Yeah, because you basically have it, you can process it and then moves it further on.
Yeah,
and I think that you can probably automate a process. So you say when you move it from ready to ship, then you have you can build in processes what it does, right?
So so there's already triggers that change the status automatically. So as soon as you print a quote letter, for example, it moves the status on from draft to submitted.
It moves to this one,
Right, so let's make a new quote. So again, from the ease of use, I don't know what you call it. Let's just call it beer labels. So from an ease of use point of view, sorry.
So when you have like a quote like this, just to understand, because I mean it takes. You have a price per meter on the machine. You have the substrate per meter. You have the finishing price. You have all the parameters that is needed for a proper quote is in your backend somehow.
Yeah, right? If we get a chance, I'll show you. I'll just show you one machine as a snapshot to show you how detailed the setup with these machines are, which is where it becomes powerful.
So when you have many machines, basically the software helps you also identifying what machine is most efficient to produce this particular product on?
Yeah, it'll run a comparison. So what I'll do is I'll put some multiple quantities in this quote, and then we'll run a comparison and we'll see it pick different machines for different quantities. So, okay, so because I've got quite a lot of defaults set up here for the company.
So you have like
Just type in the name, and it fills everything else in. So very, very quick to get started. And this is the quote UI.
I mean, to me, it almost looks like how people see a web-to-print solution, right? I mean, so it seems very easy how you navigate it and how you get your details entered, right?
Yeah, previously, and for, I guess, most desktop products, there's a huge number of days worth of training and consultancy required to get you off the ground. And that's always the kind of biggest hurdle for new prospect businesses to get over. So we wanted to kind of try and remove that and make it so that it was really, really genuinely easy to set up, which doesn't sound possible, I know, but we think we've achieved it in lots of areas of the software, leaving, you only have to focus on getting your machine set up and everything else.
But I was also thinking that if I look at some of the development trends, you say that you, for example, have one core for the engine itself, but I take that you also have like style sheets and typical different kinds of, it could be different kind of user UI sets that makes it easy to convert it to your need, basically, right? Or
yeah, so we'll probably end up with
a bootstrap, was I was looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have built our own components rather than just use the standard kind of bootstrap approach. But yeah, we intend to in the future create new user interfaces specific to different roles. So a customer-facing user interface, like a web-to-print style interface, a production interface. We used kind of a guy on the shop floor capturing time and recording materials and those kind of things. So again, we can plug whichever user interface we like into the API. All right, someone's renamed my product, so let me just. So I'm just selecting a template. There we go. So there's a beer label here. So yeah, these are all of the parameters you'd expect to fill in if you were doing a quote for a label.
Yeah.
So
and you have a little icon showing also the image direction.
Yeah,
and,
the way
just
the
to verify
is,
that you have quoted on the right material.
Yeah, quite a cool feature. So obviously you buy materials in multiple different widths.
Yeah.
So although you have to select a material for the quote, you can tell it to compare all sizes. So it just looks at the attributes of the material and you'll get a price and it'll find the optimum width of material based on the other things you've selected. And then down here we've got the selected die. And then over here, so
And all the things you do here also at some point applies to the further workflow integration. So, for example, when you select the dies, let's say that you have a laser die cutter to your machine, you can basically apply it directly to the machine, right?
Yeah. So the processes that have already been defined for this template are all listed here. You can pick processes up. You can
So you can just
reorder them.
okay, that's nice.
You can delete. You can edit. You can add. If I expand that, you can see. So I've got CMYK, printing,
And
laminating.
the percentages you have, is that based on the file you have, or is it just averages?
Well, not yet. Again, one of our integration goals is to connect to, and our previous product connects to things like, well, most of the workflow tools. So we'd like to be able to
have a dynamic
link to library and the artwork and pull it in. But
And
for now, you would just type that in.
And I was thinking that with the IoT becoming so dominant in all presses today, I take that you can have that data delivered directly into the solution, or
Yeah. So again, nothing actually working yet. But
no. But I mean, we're just talking where that's right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Now you just added another color, basically. Right?
Yeah. So I've added a color. I just wanted to show this feature about being able to compare a flexo job using the actual spot color ink versus a digital job using a simulation in the same calculation.
Okay, so you have like a multicolor for like flexo, and now you can just simulate how it is for four color in digital.
Yeah, so we've separated the color itself, the visual color, from the method of production for that, so you can compare different weeks. So if your customer's happy to simulate that on your Indigo, for example, then it'll bring it into the calculation. So I've told it originally this was going to be printed on the Mark Andy, but if I edit that, I could either just set auto on flexo printing and it'll consider all of my flexo machines, or I could say printing auto and it'll also consider my roll fed digital and my Indigo. So let's just put in a quantity, so 6,000. I could put in multiple quantities, as many as I like, so let's do 12.
Okay, so when you have the multiple quantities, basically calculating each variant based on the parameters you have given.
And then priced in, so labels are normally priced in 1,000 pieces, but I could price it in length. So we've got this really cool units engine that just switches, calculates in the background. You can quote in one, buy the material in one unit and sell it in another and quote in it in another. But let's just keep that on 1,000 labels. So now if I press compare, so now it's going to run off and it's going to calculate all the different production routes for all the different quantities.
And is that server side or local?
That's server side.
Okay. So for the calculation part, you will of course need to have an active internet connection, right?
Yeah, I mean the product does rely on a pretty permanent internet connection. There's not much you can do.
The reason I was asking is just some I don't know for MIS systems, to be honest, but sometimes you see software that actually make the calculations client side instead of server side. But of course it's a relatively complex thing because you have a lot of machines and substrates and things like that to take into.
Yeah, and we wanted it so that you didn't need to load up much of an application from the browser, so that there's no plugins or anything. So what this has done is this is showing me all of the solutions that it found for each of the quantities. So I can see I've got the Indigo is the best solution for 6,000 and 12,000. I can see that the Gallus is now creeping up the ranks as the quantity goes. I've put in 1 million just to make it jump completely. So now at 1 million, the Mark Andy becomes the weapon of choice. And then you've got a lot of detail. So our estimating engine kind of gives a really, really detailed breakdown of all the usage of the inks and the times and the for each of the individual processes, and then a list of the material requirements with all the pricing. And then you can choose it if you don't want the top solution for whatever reason. Maybe one switches onto a different finishing machine and you prefer to use that, then you're welcome to. But ultimately, you now have a different solution for each of the different quantities, and then save that down as a quote.
What I like about what I see, and I think that is like what you have aimed to do, is basically create a system that is simple to use, and it has I think it has a very friendly UI because you want to touch it, right? Kind of way here.
Yeah, and that's what these little guys
help
are.
them lost,
We're trying to build, exactly that, a friendly product, something that has got a bit of a personality to it.
So that is this is the takeaway from today's show, is basically that help, I'm lost, and then they go to talk to you guys, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You'll find them scattered around
Of course,
the show.
yeah. So because I mean, I would love to see a full demo at some point, but I think for here, I would like to maybe, do you have like something that you would really like to show that is something that is a game changer in your mind?
Yeah, I'm just going to open up. So obviously the process from there would have been to create a quote letter, automatically generate.
Yeah, so you have something that is also reader friendly for when you receive a PDF or whatever you get.
Yeah, and then you can, in the settings, you just upload your branding. So you upload a logo and a header and a footer, and then there's a series of off-the-shelf templates that will help you generate a letter. Again, like out of the box, we hope. I just want to open up a different quote. Yeah, so most of the user interface, so it's the same for anything with a kind of a parent and a line item relationship, whether it's a quote or an order, purchase order, a shipment, etc. We tried to design a UI where you never have to leave this page to get what you want. So all of these panels, behind each panel is all the data.
Okay, so basically when you click on that one, it opens for the details, and that's where you do the editing.
Yeah, so there's that's the company details. So I've got access to the company, all their addresses, their contacts. My pricing summary is in here. Each shipment, so it supports multiple shipments with a like a distribution grid where you can decide which how many.
And can you run multiple incidents in the same browser? So you could have, let's say that now you have the quote in one browser window, and then in another browser window you have. Yeah, okay.
So you can open as many tabs as you want, so you can jump backwards and forwards.
I was just asking because sometimes when you have some software, then it starts to be a little bit, let's say, difficult to get around with because it starts
you have to save one, go out of it, go back in.
But you don't have to do that. So basically, instantly save whenever you do a change here.
Yeah. And then we just wanted to put some really kind of usable features in.
So you have
so
all
you can
the
quickly
CRM kind of details.
So you can quickly dial somebody up. You can add a note. So in here I can see within this quote, I've got various notes against this company called Cooper Brothers that have been automatically generated. Any tasks that have been set relating to this, they're all available in here. I could complete a task right from inside the UI. Any attachments, so any quote letters that have been generated. I get the whole history so I can see all of the changes that have been made. There's some artwork that's been linked, so you can use it to manage your artwork as well.
That's really smart, yeah. And I think that maybe what is extremely important learning also from the COVID time is basically that we're having something that is browser-based, means that people can work from anywhere, right? Because if you have a more like a kind of old school server-based software in your company, you would need to log in and VPN, and sometimes here it's easy because you can access everything anywhere.
Yeah, and obviously you can do that by putting in a client server kind of environment for a desktop product, but this is true cloud. So we could fire up an environment for a new customer within 5 minutes. We could have a brand new installation ready to go, and we could quickly populate it with some test data.
Also, it's really easy. So I think that's very important because every time I worked in a company where we wanted to change the ERP system or MIS system, it was just like everybody was like, no way. But this is the easy part, right?
Yeah, and it makes it's always difficult to trial a product that takes a lot of setup. Yeah. But this, you can trial this. So we can just put some really simple demo data in that gives you a press and a digital press and some materials and some sample customers, and there's like an academy. So if let me just close that down. The academy is built into the software.
So you have the learning experience there right away, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole series of courses you can go through, videos.
And if you want to know more, of course, reach out to Tharstern, and you can
absolutely.
Since it's web-based, you can do online demos easily, right?
Yeah, we've we can do online demos, and even if you're interested in trialing it, then we can arrange to have your own environment spun up, and people can actually get their hands on it and prove to themselves that it's going to deliver value before they make a commitment.
Good to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
likewise. Yeah, thank you guys.
And to be honest, I am curious. I would like to know more because I think it's really cool. So congratulations on this launch.
Yeah.
Did you tell what it was named, by the way?
It's just Tharstern Cloud.
Tharstern Cloud. That
yeah.
should be easy, right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, no, thank you. Cheers, guys.